Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your elevated creativity, more joy, and prosperity. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been living an intuitive life for decades as a creative. That translates to transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 27 years through two businesses as a business strategist and a life designer. And prior to that, an entertainment publicist and talent manager. Follow Your Joy is an entrepreneurial resource for creatives sharing their challenge to victory stories through the lens of listening to their intuition. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic for you, but you will live the beautiful life meant just for you. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. Well, hello, my friends. Look, when I say you're going to be really pleased to learn of this excellent resource from what I call an ambitious, very caring woman entrepreneur who never gave up on her dreams to be a support to mothers seeking work from home and have that luxury of working and being available to their children. I mean it. And I've experienced it. So Lesley Pyle is the founder and owner of HireMyMom.com. And it's a job platform connecting small businesses with freelancers and independent virtual professionals since 2007. Right. They also provide training options as well as career services like resume writing, cover letter services, interview training, and such. And they also have a concierge service for the busy business owner who says, you do it all. I don't even want to interview. You do it for me. And they value, and I love this part of the brand, which is, I'll tell you a little backstory here in a moment. Why I really, really, value this service is that they value faith, right? Spirituality, faith is a number one, if you will, platform for them, as well as family and flexible work options. So talk about somebody who is monetizing their joy right here, right? So yeah, before I bring on Lesley, we were talking before this, a few minutes before the recording, I got to give her a 5-star, verbal rating to you, my listeners, because it was at the 11th hour of interviewing. This is last month during the holidays. I was, really hunkering down, and for the first time in years, I did not take time off other than doing the usual holiday stuff, but I literally needed to work to get my business ready for the new year. And one of that was hiring a new VA for my business. So in the 11th hour of me interviewing for that, and I coach this. I coach my entrepreneurs how to hire a team, how to hire VAs. I know this like the back of my hand. And I figured, okay, I can do this on my own. And I have my checklist and all of that. I knew the traits I was looking for. It did not. It did not produce after almost 2 weeks. It did not produce what I wanted. And I went, okay, I'm done. Let me go back to my guide. What are my resources there? And I've always had Lesley's HireMyMom.com on my hiring guide. And it was the first time I actually decided to use it. I went, let me go check this out because I'm done. I got to go somewhere that's going to be qualified candidates. Sure enough, it was the easiest, most pleasurable experience in hiring I've ever had. And I've been doing this for 15 years, right? So, yes, is as a result, in fact, 3 days after my job posted, I had over 20 highly qualified resumes, applicants, that I had to put a note on the job post that says, thank you. I've paused accepting applicants and I'll let you know if I need more, but thank you. You're all amazing. And I have plenty to go through. And a week and a half later, I ended up hiring I only interviewed 3 candidates out of the 20 resumes. I didn't even read the rest of the resumes because, as you know, as a business owner, time is of value. And I went, why do I need to read any more of these? I ended up hiring a fantastic, it's called OBM. They're called online business managers. And they are several steps above a VA where they really know how to scale your business. They focus on your revenues. They focus on how to create those revenues through the marketing, through funnels, through anything that's online. And that was something I have needed to do for years to scale my business. So I ended up finding this wonderful candidate who was more than qualified. And it didn't occur to me until I was interviewing her that that's what I needed. I was looking for a VA, and VAs are fantastic, but they're more admin, right, focused than they are scaling focused. So all that to say is I couldn't be happier. She just started a week ago. And we're in that newness onboarding process of her understanding my processes and her recommending and so forth and getting to know my team. So thank you so much, Lesley, for that. Okay. And on another note, too, is I have so much appreciation for what Lesley's doing because I was one of those moms working from home. This was back from 1996, everybody, to now. I have been running my businesses out of my home. But when my son, who's now 32, when he turned 5, and I promised myself this, when he turned 5, I would bring my gig home. And that gig was my fantastic, exciting, entertainment PR career. So I brought that home. After 6 years working for agencies, I went, okay, now I'm going to be home for my son. And it was never even second guess. I'm like, I'm bringing him home. I'm going to run my business out of my home so I can be there for him. So my heart is part of this. In other words, I want to hire a mom, and the whole platform and what Lesley was offering was like right along with my values. Awesome. Oh, righty. So let's bring on, it's my pleasure to welcome Lesley to Follow Your Joy.
Thank you so much, Marla. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. And we have Lesley's got this beautiful, well, it's Texas. I guess you can call it Southern, but this beautiful
Yes.
Southern hospitality charm to her. And you'll love this. Okay. So let's start off, please. Share, highlights of your journey, kind of back to what it was at 1995, but really what brought you to that point of, starting this business?
Well, like a lot of women, I think it was motherhood. And so in 1994, I had my first baby. I had just graduated in 1993 with a master's in PR and marketing. So as you might imagine, I had all these career aspirations, and I did not anticipate being a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, do the PR, either corporate PR or agency PR. And I just had all these big, lofty career dreams. Then fast forward another year, had my baby. And at that time, I was doing PR for a golf school in Austin, Texas, and had every intention on going back to work. However, when she was born, that mother gene in me just went on full force. And I began to worry during maternity leave, how am I going to go back to work? I can't imagine leaving this beautiful baby with someone else, especially someone that didn't know her. I didn't have family, so it meant daycare for me. And but I thought, I've given my word, I have to go back to work. So my maternity leave ended and I went back to work, but I was miserable. And I cried every single day at my desk. So I soon learned, although I had good intentions, it just wasn't for me. So that was, 29 years ago.
Mm.
And working from home was not widely accepted.
Yeah.
People weren't really doing it. My employer was not open to any kind of flex time. So I decided to quit and start freelancing.
Mm.
And that was hard. It was hard because I had never freelanced. I had to develop clients. I had to build a business and I had a newborn. So as you can imagine, it was hard. But the thing I had, not only did I have my education, but I had determination. And I almost think that determination carried me further than my education because I was willing to, work hard, make the phone calls, knock on doors, because, this was before the internet. So I couldn't use email and social media to get clients. I had to do it the old fashioned way. So
Mm.
that's where it all began for
Mm.
me. And then about a year into it, I was like, I've got to figure out, maybe not even a year, probably more like 6 months. I've got to figure out how to find other women who are either working from home or wanting to work from home.
Mhm.
And that led me to start my first website when I discovered the internet. And I started Home-Based Working Moms, and I believe it was 1996. As a way just to connect, almost like a virtual chamber of commerce for women to
Oh.
find each other and buy from each other, support each other, network, and all of that.
Mm. You're so enterprising.
Mhm.
I mean, I love that. And boy, talk about the mother gene when you brought that up. Boy, every woman I know has experienced that. And I do remember what that was like. I had to go back part-time to work. I think it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks after my son was born. And man, that was hard. Even if it was part-time. And I went through the same thing I was breastfeeding. And so I had to, get
Mm,
milk prepared. And I had a wonderful family that was taking care of my son. That was our neighbors. I was in Colorado at the time. And thank goodness. I mean, that definitely eased my concerns, but the um, disconnection from not being with your child. And it's so
right.
instinctual, right? It's just like you said, that mother gene, like, I just want to be with that baby.
Mhm.
And that's hard. That's really hard. And I know that fed into my dream that said, as in my vision, when he turns 5, I'm coming home. I'm bringing this home.
Yeah,
So yeah, I ended up just working part-time most of his first 5 years, but I was still not working from home.
right.
So love your story and definitely relate with that. And I know my women entrepreneurs and our moms are absolutely going to relate with this too. So definitely go to hiremymom.com, ladies, for your next hire. So, okay. Talk to me then. Obviously, the theme of the podcast is follow your joy, which is, again, it's a life strategy. It's not just a feel good. It's not just a nice thing to think about. Because when you follow your joy, you're on the path to what should be doing, right? It's a
Right.
hint. I call it, the success leaves clues. And it leaves clues
Like
within your
that.
joy. So good. So talk to us. What brings you joy? Right? What brings you joy in your business?
Well, you might not be surprised, but knowing how much I wanted to be at home with my baby, and I went on to have a second child about 2 years later. Um, and it just was such a passion of mine because I thought, okay, I feel so blessed to be able to work from home, to be able to work my schedule around my kids, to be able to walk them to school, to go have lunch with them, to go watch their plays, whatever it might have been. It just felt like such a blessing. I knew
Mhm.
that I was forfeiting the big career salary and the big career, kudos or whatever, but that was almost meaningless to me at this point. I just was so thankful that I could work from home.
Mhm.
Um, and then I thought, I really would love to help other women because I would be asked all the time, how did you do it? Or how can I do it? Like, I don't have those skills, but what could I do? And that was part of the reason I started Home Based Working Moms back in 1996, because I really wanted, it was such a passion of mine to help other women figure out a way to work from home. And, that ultimately led me in 2007 to start Hire My Mom, because at that point it was like, okay, it's becoming more acceptable to work from home. I know I have this huge audience now of women who are working from home or who really want to work from home. And, I was like, what if I could now help small businesses find these women? Because as a small business owner myself, I was like, at that point, I needed a virtual assistant. I needed people to help with my business. So I was fitting in both camps, both as a mom and a small business owner. And I thought it would just be fantastic if I could create a platform to bring those two people, those two audiences together. And so now I have not only the joy of helping women find remote work, flexible work, so they can prioritize their family, their faith, and what's important to them, but also now as a small business owner, I have the joy of knowing that I'm helping people, just like you said, find these amazing talent without getting lost with the mega job sites where you get inundated with hundreds and thousands of resumes,
Yeah.
some from the far reaches of the earth that have, may not even really speak fluent English. And with Hire My Mom, you're just dealing with people here in North America who primarily are women who just want to work. A lot of them just want to work part-time from home. Some of them are looking for full-time, but it just gives me a lot of joy knowing that I'm helping both of these audiences that I have such passion for.
Oh, it's well said. Well said. I mean, especially the part about the bigger job sites. I mean, your premise and your platform is like a boutique, even though it's larger than the word boutique, but it's like a boutique approach to the hiring because it's specialized for these well qualified, women at home with their children. So, because you can, I mean, I kind of got lost out there for, a little bit going on various websites and Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, this is the long route. And
Mhm.
I don't have time. I need to get to qualified candidates quickly, and it's not going to be done this way. So well said on that for sure. Do you have a client story, as in a job seeker as well as a business owner? Obviously, I gave my testimonial, but
Mhm.
share a client story where it was a really win-win for them.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't get a lot of one-on-one with the
Mhm.
clients that come through Hire My Mom. I wish I did. I wish I could hear more of the success stories. And sometimes it's just through comments on our Facebook post or
Mhm.
an email, just a random email saying, you know what, I got hired through Hire My Mom in like 9 years ago and I'm still with that job. And I'm like, oh my goodness, or somebody says, I didn't know who to hire or how to hire. But, I took a chance and used your platform. And now I've grown my team to, 6 or 8 people. So I have a lot of those people that email me in and tell me,
Nice.
what a success they've had using the platform. I have one company that says, they don't go anywhere else because they've just found
Yeah.
the quality to be much higher.
Yeah.
And it just saves them so much time because, like I said, one employer told me he got 900 applicants in less than 24 hours on one of the big job platforms. And it's like, I cannot manage. You were saying 20 was a lot. Imagine 900. So it's
No,
just for the small business owner, you don't have time. We don't have
no,
HR departments that are
no.
sorting through
Yeah.
these resumes. And so it just, it's like we found our niche where we feel like we can really serve our audience as well. Um, and just knowing, that there are moms out there that, like me, that didn't know they wanted to be at home until they had kids and not realizing at the time that there are options out there, especially prior to COVID,
Right.
where they could find remote work, legitimate, a place that, weeds out the scams for them and just enables them to be there for their kids and their babies, especially when they're young. But,
Yeah.
mine aren't young anymore, and I still love and appreciate the flexibility working from home allows.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so you find a lot of your stories from, the comments on Instagram or LinkedIn and perhaps of someone like myself who emails that says, "Oh my God, you're a
Mhm.
godsend. Thank you for this," etc. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, obviously, I mean, you're doing a wonderful service, which exactly that. It's quality candidates and it saves us time. Oh my gosh, saves so much time. I got more done in a week and a half than I did in the 2 weeks, trying to do it on my own. And I thought I knew how to do it. So that it goes to show again, everybody, that, leveraging your time, give it to someone who knows who's
Right.
better at it than you.
Yeah.
Great example is hire a service, hire, an expert to do that. So terrific. Okay. So intuition, as you know, is my, platform in which encourage and aspire for my women
Mm.
entrepreneurs in my audience and so forth to use your intuition, right, as a first sense, not a sixth sense, because we're born with that. It's literally a skill that it's an art, it's a skill. And our society really, it's not at the top of the list in order to navigate your life, and it should be. Right? Yes, there are experts like myself, thousands of us that really support this. But the point is, it's so important to make decisions, right, to guide our life because our intuition knows best, right?
Mm.
Knows best. And then it's followed up by our logic and our practicality to get that guidance implemented, right? So share with us a story that you have about your life that you followed your intuition and it created obviously a fulfilling result.
Yeah. I have to the big one that always comes to me first is just that intuition I had as a first time freelancer.
Mm.
At that time, like I said, there was no internet, there was no way to really connect with other professionals other than going out to a networking meeting. And I just knew there had to be a way for me to bring these ladies together all across the country. I just had to figure out how. And that's, like I said, that's when I discovered the internet. And I was like, this is like just gold to me to be able to now be able to connect to other people, not only for my own needs, but for the needs of all of these ladies who
Mhm.
don't want to start from scratch, who don't want to have to reinvent the wheel, who just want to connect and learn from other moms, because I feel like as moms, we just have this immediate like commonality, like we can trust each other, we can give each other advice, we can learn from each other. So just figuring out a way to do that is probably one of my biggest achievements. I feel like is having that, which led me, to start hiring my mom. And so going on almost, what is it, 17 years now, I just feel like it's like a calling for me because it's such something that I just am so passionate about because
Mhm.
I know that feeling when I had my baby and did not want to leave her for the first time, or even today, having grown children, wanting to spend time with them, or my teenager, will be out of town again for the next several days for volleyball. And just having those opportunities to have that flexibility is just such a huge blessing. I think moms especially appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so take us to what was the defining moment for you as that new freelancer that your intuition said, go to the internet? I mean, what was that moment in time? Can you recall that? What was
I
going
don't recall
on?
the exact moment. I just remember hearing that there was this, World Wide Web I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a way to connect to others.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I didn't have any idea how to build a website or what that looked like. But I was, on a pretty tight budget back then because
Sure.
you go from having a salary to freelancing and takes a bit to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided I would teach myself how to build that website. And I
Mm-hmm.
bought a program and, created a website. It was not very pretty, I'm sure, because, it was
Yeah.
back then you didn't have professional web developers though.
Right.
So I think all of them were pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
But it did the job. It, got my name out there. And the beautiful thing was having that PR background was
Mm-hmm.
able to get publicity and, send out news releases and things to all these um, magazines and radio stations and TV station, and was able to get some great publicity early on because there was nothing else out there like
Sure.
it,
Yeah.
you know. And it was novel and it was interesting. And, like Baby Magazine was a national magazine that, did a blurb on us. And then I went on to get coverage in Parents Magazine, First for Women, entrepreneur type magazines and radio and stuff. So that was before podcasts. So getting radio
Yep.
interviews and
Mm-hmm.
TV interviews was a huge blessing and bonus to get my
That's
business launched.
fantastic. Good. So you used, which I absolutely relate with being also in that background. So you use your own PR skill set to promote your business, get yourself in the media and so forth. So I'm going to go back again to the intuition here. So when you, okay, intuition is a hunch, intuition is a soft voice, intuition is a nudge, right? It's not loud, it's very soft. What was it that, and if you don't listen, it keeps it
Mhm.
keeps showing up. What was it about go to the internet? Was that part of your intuition? What would you define in that string of events that you just shared? Where is the intuition in that?
I think part of it had to do with meeting other moms who were in similar places, either working and wanting to be at home or at
Mm,
home but wanting to make some money.
okay.
And, had those factors contributing to it as well. Like, I just have a passion to help other people. I want to help other people. And how can I do that? And I knew that it, just, I was in just a very small area in Texas, so I couldn't reach many people,
Yeah,
just word of mouth or just, I wanted to figure out a way to bring everyone together.
got
And I
it.
didn't know any other way to do that other than the internet when I learned about it.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense because that's exactly what goes on is, intuition, it comes in spurts. It's not, doesn't give you the whole picture, right? I call it follow the breadcrumbs.
Mhm.
It literally, or follow the yellow brick road, whatever you want to call it, is that we get our intuition in these, and it's our higher self, and it's our connection to the our higher power. And it literally is little snippets, like do this, go there, right?
Mhm.
And that's what it sounds like what happened to you is you had this passion. You said, how can I get that done? Or how can I do this? How can I help other women that are in the same situation as me? In
Right.
your thought processes, maybe you spoke it out loud. Whatever it was, is it led you to somehow, oh, there's this thing called the internet, which I don't know if you even knew about it prior to that.
Mm-mm. I don't
No.
think I did.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is your intuition combined with your obviously your passion and what you wanted to accomplish, it led you to, which is exactly what intuition does. It leads you to the next step and the next step.
Mhm.
And that's what it sounds like would happen, which is awesome. And look at it, how many years later,
Yeah.
right? So 29 or however you
Right.
add this up.
29 years since I became a freelancer.
29
Yeah. And
years
started
later.
all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, everybody, that's the power of intuition. It's not logic first, logic comes second. So when you ask, like what Lesley did, is how can I do that? Right? How can I take that? I want to help others. I want to help other moms just like me. in her, back way back in 2007 when there wasn't much of an internet at all. It was out there, but it wasn't. So yes, is asking everybody is ask your intuition, get very quiet, be very intentional about it. Don't be running around trying to figure out what action you need to take. It's like slow down, be quiet, take some deep breaths and go, okay, literally intuition, higher self, whatever you want to say, is ask the question, I wonder, how can I XYZ? In fact,
Mm.
the words I wonder opens up your imagination, which also connects to your creativity, which also opens up your connection to intuition. So even throw out the literally the phrase, and I learned this from my own mentor, spiritual mentor, is I wonder, how can I, right, and fill in the blank. So beautiful example. Thank you.
Yeah, love
Yeah,
that.
thank you. Okay, let's see what else. So, all right, kind of nearing the close of this, based on your obviously vast experience, what key advice, right, can you give our listeners? And remember, these are creative entrepreneurs,
Yeah,
many of them women, right?
yeah. I
Hmm.
think one of the things I would say is to know that success is an individual thing
Hmm.
and it shouldn't be measured by other people's opinions and values. It's a very personal decision and it can change in different seasons of life and it may have nothing to do with money. That's my opinion.
Yeah, let's unpack that. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, what do you mean by, I mean, just explain that. What experience did you have that then created this belief and, right, this wise advice?
Yes.
Well, yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah. So I've been, at various levels of income in my life. Grew up very, very modest home, did not have a lot, put myself through college, built up a business. And so I've had plenty and I've had not have plenty. And so I've realized that, there are a lot of things in life that people say, well, to be successful, you have to be bazillionaire and make a bazillion dollars. But I really find for me, I've had to look at that differently because there's been different seasons of life where money was not as important to me as time,
Hmm.
especially when I had those young kids. For me, success meant I only had to work, 10 or 20 hours, and the rest of the time I could be a mom and a wife and a friend and a volunteer and things like that. So for me, in that season of life, that was success.
Very
I
good.
didn't have a big, lofty title and I didn't have a big, lofty paycheck, but I was successful because I had met the goals that I had for myself in that season. And then, as my kids begin to grow, and now we just have one daughter at home, there are times when I feel, okay, is this the time to really push hard on the gas and grow my business and make it something much bigger? And there have been seasons where I've toyed with that, but usually I've come back to this place where I feel like I am in a place of success because I have a good balance of time, money, and that is success to me. I don't feel like I have to um, necessarily have some big, huge company to be successful because I'm very happy and content where I'm at now. And I have a great team. And I know if I were to grow it much bigger, then I would lose more of myself and more of my time.
That's right.
And that's just not what's important to me in this season of life. Now, who knows
And
what the next 5 years could bring? Something
mhm.
could change, but for now, that's where I've defined success for me. And I think everyone should be intentional about defining it for the season they're in and the things that are important to them in
Mhm.
life.
Ah, fantastic. Perfect advice. Because I'm a huge believer, and this is when I coach my entrepreneurs, one of the more important statements that I aspire for them to really, take in is um, building their business on their own terms, right?
Yeah,
Defining their success on their own terms. Look, the big gigantic home and the multi-gazillionaire, income, that doesn't guarantee anything, right?
right.
Meaning if that's what you want to build an empire, fantastic, go for it. You want
Right.
to do something more like what you and I are doing, fantastic. What's
Hmm.
most important, and I love how you term it as your season. Maybe this season of your life, it's this. The next season, it
Hmm.
could be maybe you want to put, like you said, put on the gas. But be careful is what I'm hearing you say, which 100% agree with you. Be careful of, the grass is greener on the other side, or keeping up with the Joneses, or whatever you want to call it. That's not success. What
Right.
success is what you determine, right? What's going to fit your lifestyle. I call it, you build your business around your lifestyle, not the other way around, right?
Right. Hmm.
So with that, and I'm the same way, is what's important to me, of course, is, you bet, is a lifestyle and income to match that, but not at the sacrifice of my well-being. Right.
Right.
I'm not interested in being married to my business
Nor am I.
24/7. I'm not going to do
Or
it.
being stressed out all the
Or
time.
being stressed out all the time. I mean, that, as you know, is one of the bigger topics today, is about this whole burnout and massive action. And my gosh, I use that in a lot of my marketing. Is You're right. Time, the balance of time and money, be able to have an actual personal life, which I'm still working on. Um, I have it, but it could definitely be better. Um, and yeah, so really honoring what's important to you, right? And to build your business around that rather than someone else's list or
Right.
someone else's
Exactly.
version, right? Someone else's
Hmm.
version. So very, very good. I love that. Okay. Have a balance of time, money, and time for family, time for, church, time for whatever those things are, is super important, opposed to, and this is a big part of the training I do around your money relationship is, what is your definition today of money? How do you define it?
Hmm.
Habits, behaviors, mindset, and how is it adding or taking away from the quality of your life? Because your belief systems around money, right?
Yes. Right.
Okay, awesome. Good. So thank you for that. Okay. Where can my listeners get in touch with you? Give us, social and
Yeah. The
freebie.
two
What do you want
places
to?
I mostly hang out are LinkedIn. So you can find me at Lesley Pyle or just look up Hire My Mom. And then also we're on Instagram at Hire My Mom, on pretty much every social media platform at Hire My Mom.
Okay.
And then of course our website, if you go to hiremymom.com, you can connect using our connect our contact form there to send me an email. I'd love to meet and help out anyone that I can.
Oh, that's terrific. And don't you have a special
I
uh
do have a freebie
yeah,
for your audience,
okay, good.
and I'm sure you can link it in your show notes.
Yeah.
It's the top 10 interview questions to ask. So, finding the best candidate for a job requires that you do your homework in advance. So,
Yeah.
part of that is asking the right questions, making sure you get thorough answers. So, if a candidate does not give a thorough response, you have to not be afraid to ask for more details. So, there's several tips in there to help you in the hiring process to hire those great candidates.
Very helpful, everybody. Yeah, go grab that. If you don't have something like that already, please, it's very helpful. Terrific. Thank you for that so much. All right. Well, yeah, appreciate you being here, Lesley. Thank you for
Thank you, Marla.
your time and creative. So, yeah, 2024 goals. I want you to, obviously you're looking at those and your desires. There's a difference. We can talk about that if you'd like. But yes, as I'd love to support you in your 2024 goals and desires. A couple ways you can reach out, obviously, to me. I'll leave my Calendly link in the show notes where you can have an intro call, 30 minutes, and we'll talk about how to achieve those goals and desires without the burnout. Without the burnout. And the fact that the day that this comes out is the day that my new cohort begins, which is the 24th of January. And it's a 90-day program for women entrepreneurs to achieve their 1-year goals that they think is going to take a year, but in 90 days. And it's done through intuitive and strategic, right, processes and strategies, or I should say implementation. It's not about massive action and burnout. So those are a couple options. I'll leave the link to that. But yes, do reach out. So yes, follow your joy, everybody. Listen to that intuition. Ask it. Get quiet. Ask it. Let that be your first sense, not your sixth. And yeah, when you do follow that joy, you know that in fact you're on the right path. Okay, you all take care, and I'll talk with you in the next episode. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for listening. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my free downloads to uplevel your business and your life. And Instagram. It's my favorite place to hang out. Let's connect there. If you received inspiration from the episode, I'd sure appreciate a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. Until next episode, take care.